What's the most annoying thing that ever happened to you? The neighbor who took my parking spot every single day. If you want to know the most annoying thing that ever happened to me, don't look for something dramatic like betrayal or heartbreak. For me, it came on four wheels and a smug face named Derek, my neighbor from across the street, who made my life a parking nightmare. I lived in a quiet cul-de-sac in a suburb that pretended to be civilized. Everyone had two-car driveways, but the developers, in their infinite wisdom, had only made room for one designated guest parking spot per house on the curb. Mine was in front of my house. I didn't own a second car, just my Honda Civic, but I often had friends or deliveries coming by. And besides, it was my spot. My address was painted on the curb, for crying out loud. But none of that mattered to Derek. It started subtle. One evening, I came home to find his beat up Ford pickup parked in my spot. I figured he had company over and they needed the extra space. No big deal. I parked a few houses down and forgot about it. But it happened again the next day. And the next. On the fourth day, I knocked on his door. He opened it, half shirtless, holding a protein shake. Yeah? Hey, your truck's been in my curb spot a few days now. Mind moving it so I can use it tonight? He blinked like I'd spoken Klingon. Oh, that? Yeah, the sun hits my driveway too hard. I don't want the dashboard to crack. I stared at him. What? It's hot, bro. You'll be fine parking down the street. He shut the door. I stood there, stunned. Not only did he know he was using my spot, he genuinely thought his truck deserved shade more than I deserved my own parking space. I tried being diplomatic. Left a note. Hi, kindly asking again. Please don't park in front of my house. Appreciate it. He crumpled it up and tossed it on my porch. I spoke to the HOA. They said guest spots weren't strictly enforced, and there wasn't a rule against parking on the curb as long as he wasn't blocking a mailbox or hydrant. He's not technically violating anything, the HOA rep said over the phone. Have you tried talking to him? I did. He said the sun was too hot. Ah, well, maybe ask again? Ask again? What was I supposed to say? Hey, Derek, please stop absorbing UV rays in front of my house like a parking parasite? Still, I kept it civil. But the final straw came one Friday evening. I was hosting my sister's birthday. Small gathering, just close friends and family. I planned everything. Decorated. Cooked. Cleaned. I even reserved my own curb spot by parking my Civic there early in the morning. Went to get balloons at noon. Came back. His truck was in my spot again. Steam. Literal steam. I swear, rose from my ears. I stormed across the street and knocked. No answer. I called. No response. The man had the audacity to go out and leave his truck in my spot. My guests ended up parking blocks away. My elderly uncle had to hobble with a cane from half a street down. And later, I saw Derek stroll back with a smoothie and not even glance at me. I decided that night I wasn't just going to stop him. I was going to ruin his spot stealing hobby. Step 1, the fake warning. I printed a very official looking warning and slid it under his windshield one evening. It read, Notice of parking violation. Zone curb 14B. You have been identified for repeated non-resident curb use without registry. Future violations may result in towing, booting, or homeowner HOA citation. This is a final warning. He saw it the next morning, picked it up, squinted, and for the first time in weeks, parked in his driveway that evening. Victory? Not quite. 2 days later, he was back in my spot. Step 2, social embarrassment. I joined our neighborhood Facebook group and began a post. Hey neighbors, quick question. Anyone else having problems with people constantly parking in front of their house? Our family spot keeps getting taken by someone from across the street. Any tips? The replies rolled in, OMG, same. We need to do something about this. That guy with the truck, I've seen him take multiple spots. A few people named him outright. Derek was now a known offender. But the real game changer came when Mrs. Bellingham, our HOA president, commented, Thanks for the heads up. I'll be bringing this to the next HOA board meeting. 2 days later, every resident received a notice. Curb spots must be used primarily by the home they are assigned to, unless consent is given by the homeowner. Violations may result in citation. But Derek? Still shameless. Step 3. The motion sensor light. I installed a floodlight over my garage. A big, blinding LED motion light that flipped on whenever someone moved near the curb. Every time he stepped out of his truck, it lit him up like a Broadway spotlight. He flipped it off the first night. I turned it brighter. Next day, I added a sign to my lawn. Smile, you're on camera. Unauthorized parking will be documented. Did I have a camera? No, but he didn't know that. He stormed over. You can't just point that thing at me like I'm a criminal. Then don't park in front of my house, I said, calm as ice. That's what criminals do. He cursed. I smiled. The next part took planning. Precision. Petty genius. I knew Derek left for the gym at 8 p.m. and came back at 9. I waited until 8:10, then rolled my Civic into the spot. It had a full tank and no plans to move. At 8:20, I called up my friend Kevin, who lived around the block, and said, now. Kevin arrived in his junker sedan and parked right behind me, boxing me in tight. Derek's spot was officially sealed off. 9 p.m. Derek returned. He slowed, saw the blockade, parked in front of his own house for the first time in forever. I waved from the window. Everything okay? He didn't reply. I kept the blockade in place for a week, every night. Then another. By the third week, Derek had fully given up on my spot. I took my Civic out. He never returned. He started parking in his driveway again. Shocker. The sun didn't melt his truck after all. A month later, I got a knock on the door. It was Mrs. Bellingham. Just wanted to let you know. She said, the board passed a motion. We're assigning enforcement to curb zones. Yours is now legally yours. She handed me a shiny new resident use only sign, complete with my address engraved on it. It's been a year. My curb spot remains untouched. Derek still lives across the street, but barely makes eye contact. Occasionally, I see him peek over at my sign with quiet, sun-drenched resentment. Every time I pull into my spot, I take an extra moment to enjoy the silence. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, feels more satisfying than reclaiming what's yours, one petty move at a time. Like and subscribe. Share if this happened to you or someone you know.